Hi, welcome to another episode of U.S. History with Lennox, and today we're continuing our discussion about American imperialism, and we're going to the Far East today. Now, following the Spanish-American War, America had gained a newfound respect in the world, specifically from the European powers. Our victory in the Spanish-American War is going to increase our holdings in the world, specifically down into the Caribbean and over into the Far East and the Philippines. But beyond our victory in the Spanish-American War, our military also was gaining the respect of European powers. During the 1880s, Alfred Mahan, the chief naval strategist under President Cleveland, is going to push for a new American Navy, one that would be envied throughout the world. His initial focus was to create lightly armored, fast ships, and he's going to do that. By the 1890s, we were on our way to an entirely new naval fleet with these lightly armored ships. However, there was more to this new Navy than just the ship. We were also starting to use smokeless powder artillery, rapid fire guns. We used the first submarines in the world, as well as the first torpedoes. What we saw as a result of Mahan's influence was that our Navy grew from being the 12th ranked Navy in the world to the 3rd by the 1900s. And we were going to use that Navy to expand our empire, specifically into the Far East. Now, if the world was already impressed with what the United States had done as a result of the Spanish-American War, increasing our influence not only in the Caribbean but over to the Philippines, that respect is going to grow even more as we go into China. Chinese markets were highly sought after by all European powers, and America was a little late coming to the game. While we were eager to start trading with China, other foreign countries had already created their spheres of influence. They had already created those economic relationships. And you can see it in this map here. This is China in 1910, and you can see that France and Britain, Germany, Japan, and Russia are already building influential markets within the country of China. And the United States wanted to get in there too. But how do you go into an area that's already been divided up? Well, U.S. Secretary of State John Hay is going to suggest the open door policy in 1900. This policy was delivered to all the European powers saying, why not just have a policy where we can all go in? No one's going to have spheres of influence anywhere. Every market will be open to every power that wants to come in there. And it actually worked. He actually set up this relationship, which is going to bring in an influence of American finance to the country of China. What we really did, guys, is we just ignored the European spheres of influence, and we just created our own, kind of pushed our way into it. We said, we're going to stop all this division, and we're just going to go in and do what we want to do. It worked. However, there will be 3 major effects to the open door policy after it's introduced. Number 1, it's going to increase the tension between the Chinese and all foreigners at this point. Number 2, it's also going to increase conflict between China and America and the country of Japan. And then finally, once we get into China, you're going to see the U.S. interest in East Asia start to grow. All of this as a result of Hay's open door policy. Now, like I said, there is going to be an increased tension between the Chinese and foreigners. In fact, you're going to see the rise of nationalism and xenophobia within China against all foreigners. This is going to lead to the Boxer Rebellion. The Boxer Rebellion is going to be instigated by a secret Chinese society called the Society of Harmonious Fist, or Boxers. And they're going to push back against the foreigners coming into the country of China. In fact, they're going to start attacking foreigners throughout the country, specifically Christian missionaries. To protect our interest in China, we are going to send our military to China, and we're going to put the Boxer Rebellion down. We are quickly able to do that. And we also look to China to pay our cost of coming and putting this rebellion down. This is going to start to weaken the Chinese empire. However, John Hay sees any type of military involvement in China as a threat to their empire. So he's going to write a second note that says, we want to help protect and preserve the Chinese territory, as well as the economic relationship between China and her foreign trading partners. This is going to become the long-standing policy between the United States and China that will not only be in existence during McKinley's presidency, but Roosevelt's presidency, Taft's presidency, in fact, all the presidencies through the 1930s. Another issue following the open door policy of John Hay is going to be our relationship with Japan. Like I said, there was tension between China and the United States and Japan. Now, originally, Japan had a pretty good relationship with the United States. In 1854, Commodore Matthew Perry went to Japan and essentially opened it to trade with the United States, ending nearly 200 years of Japanese isolationism. But as we started to move into Asia, that's going to create a very rocky relationship with Japan. Now, we still had that relationship, but it wasn't as strong as it had been. Japan was looking for its own way to build its empire. And where it's going to come to a head is in 1904 in a war with Russia, both fighting for imperialistic gains in Asia. The Russo-Japanese War is going to occur in 1904, and Japan, as a result, is going to gain control of Korea. But this is a threat to the U.S. sphere of influence in Asia, because if they get one part, they're going to start wanting to move into other parts. That's just how imperialism works. So we start working on our relationship with Japan to try to maintain the peace. We had had a number of Japanese immigrants come to America, and they were facing discrimination in California. And the Japanese government not too happy about that. So in 1907, we're going to sign the Gentleman's Agreement, in which we said in the United States we were going to protect Japanese Americans, stop them from being segregated from society, provide them education, and in exchange, the Japanese government was going to limit immigrants coming to the United States. This is very similar to the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act. The basic difference is the Exclusion Act was legislation, where this is more of a written agreement. Then in 1908, we're going to sign the Root-Takahira Agreement with Japan. And in this agreement, we're going to allow the status quo of Asia to remain. Japan agrees to uphold the open door policy and also respect Chinese independence. The idea was we're trying to prevent Japan from looking to China as a new empire building opportunity. Now, all of this is very tenacious. It's a temporary solution because as we move further into the 1900s, our relationship with Japan is absolutely going to deteriorate, and that's going to come to a head in World War II. But that's further down the line for another video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can always watch again and look for the answers, or the comments down below. Ask a question, I'll do my best to answer. And as always, if you like something in this video, hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, we'll see you on the next time around. Bye-bye.